Welcome back to Tech Talk today. I'm Mark, and I'm really excited about what we're diving into.
And I'm Jenny. Mark gets extra excited when we talk about things that sound like science fiction but are actually happening now. Like times now. Today, it's about AI-driven cyber threats, straight from a recent Delinea report looking ahead to 2026. Kind of feels ripped from a dystopian movie, doesn't it?
Oh man, yes. The report is basically saying AI is going to make attacks way faster, way more sophisticated, and way harder to spot. They highlight two big areas that really caught my eye. The explosion of non-human identities, which sounds wild, and the, let's just say, concerning evolution of ransomware.
Okay, wait, hold up. Non-human identities? Like robots talking to each other behind our backs?
Haha, well, kind of. Think service accounts, APIs, those machine-to-machine connections applications use to share stuff. Basically, anything accessing your network or data that isn't a person sitting there at a keyboard. The report says for every human identity in an organization, there are about 46 non-human ones, just dwelling in the network shadows.
46? That's quite a number. And they expect that to jump to over 45 billion globally by the end of next year? That's just a lot of potential doorways into a network that we might not even know are there.
Exactly. And here's the really concerning part about these non-human identities. We are not great at managing them. The report found that something like 70% of them aren't having their credentials rotated on time. The average cycle is a rather lengthy 627 days. That's over 2 years without changing a password for a system account.
Oh, wow. Over 2 years? I can already hear our listeners thinking about the sticky notes on monitors they've seen, except this is on a much larger, more impactful scale.
Right? But these aren't just minor accounts. These can be keys to critical systems. John Kuhn from Delinea pointed out that this is one of the most ignored security gaps out there. We focus on human users, which makes sense, but these non-human ones? They're proliferating like crazy, and often have way more access to sensitive stuff.
And what could possibly go wrong, right? The report mentions that 97% of these non-human identities are exposed to third parties. So suddenly, it's not just an internal risk, it's your partners, your vendors, anyone connected to your system can be a potential entry point if one of these identities is compromised.
Yep. Think about how many APIs your company uses, how many cloud services connect to your systems. Each of those connections relies on a non-human identity. And if that third party gets compromised, you could be next. It's a significant supply chain vulnerability that AI can make faster to exploit.
Okay, so lesson 1. Get a handle on your machine identities. Treat them with care. What about ransomware? That seems to be a constant presence in the news these days.
Unfortunately, it's still a major threat. The report says around 36% of cyber incidents are ransomware attacks. But what's really evolving is Ransomware-as-a-Service, or RAS. Think of it like cybercrime being, franchised out.
RAS? So you don't even need to be a super skilled hacker to launch an attack now? It's like, ordering a pizza with extra malware?
Precisely. It significantly lowers the barrier to entry. Less skilled actors can subscribe to these services and launch attacks using pre-built tools. Gal Diskin from Delinea highlighted this concerning convergence of RAS and AI, making credentialed phishing and attack orchestration much easier for, more people.
That's a deeply concerning trend. And they mentioned double extortion tactics, right? Where they not only encrypt your data but threaten to leak it publicly too?
Yeah, it's a nasty 1-2 punch. It bypasses just having backups and puts immense pressure on organizations not just to recover data, but to prevent public data breaches and the resulting reputational damage. Some groups are even exploring triple extortion by adding DDoS attacks during negotiations to really twist the knife.
Wow. It's not enough to just have backups anymore. You have to think about the public relations nightmare and the disruption. And speaking of twisting the knife, with AI, even phishing is getting scarier.
Oh man, AI-powered phishing it's a whole new ballgame. These engines can craft emails that look incredibly legitimate and are hyper-personalized. They can mimic your boss's writing style. Maybe even reference internal projects you've been working on. They effectively reduce the detectable linguistic anomalies that traditional email filters look for.
So those weirdly phrased emails that just felt off might be a thing of the past? We'll have to rely on our gut feeling?
Pretty much. AI is making it really hard to tell what's real and what's a sophisticated attack getting through the net. This is where defense really needs to leverage AI as well. It's become a bit of a technological arms race.
That's fascinating. So AI is both the primary weapon for attackers and potentially the shield for defenders. What does this all mean for organizations as we head into 2026? Beyond just panic?
Well, it means you absolutely have to get your house in order with non-human identities. Seriously. Treat them like privileged users. Implement robust credential management and rotation policies. Just assuming they're fine because they're not a person is a huge mistake. You also need more advanced threat detection that can spot the subtle, quicker signs of AI-driven attacks.
So it's about foundational security controls, but also embracing more advanced detection techniques. It sounds like a significant shift in mindset and investment for many organizations.
It is. The old ways aren't going to cut it against AI-accelerated threats. Centralized identity management, zero-trust frameworks where you verify everything. These concepts are becoming not just good practice, but essential, especially for those non-human identities that are multiplying faster than rabbits.
I've seen arguments that focusing too much on the high-tech AI solutions might distract from some simpler, yet really effective security practices, like good old human training and awareness programs. Phishing still works because people click things, right?
That's a fair point, Jenny. And you're absolutely right. While AI is a potent weapon for both sides, human error remains a significant factor in successful attacks. Over-reliance on AI for defense could definitely lead to underinvestment in training employees to spot the signs of phishing or being cautious about what they click. It's a balance. For sure.
And what about centralized identity management? While it sounds efficient, could it create a bigger target? Like, if a hacker gets into that time central system, do they suddenly have the keys to the entire kingdom?
Yeah, that's another valid concern about centralized systems. A single point of failure is always a risk. It can also complicate compliance efforts. Because you have so much sensitive identity data consolidated, you need to ensure those central systems have the absolute highest level of security and monitoring.
Okay, so not a simple fix then. And realistically, implementing all these AI-driven measures and centralized systems, that sounds expensive. Is this something only big corporations facing? Or will smaller businesses be able to keep up? Could this widen that security disparity?
Yeah, the economic impact is a real consideration. Smaller organizations often struggle with the financial burden of implementing advanced security systems. This could definitely create a disadvantage compared to larger companies with deeper pockets, potentially making smaller businesses easier prey for attackers who don't need the most sophisticated tools thanks to things like RAS. So it seems like the Delinea report is a wake-up call. But we also need to consider the practicalities and potential downsides of the recommended solutions. It's not just add AI to everything and you're safe.
Definitely. So the key takeaways from this Delinea report seem to be: urgently address your non-human identities, understand and prepare for evolving and more accessible ransomware, recognize that AI is fundamentally changing the game for both attackers and defenders, but also remember the human element, the potential risks of the solutions, and the economic feasibility for different organizations.
Exactly. It's a complex and challenging landscape, but understanding these multifaceted trends is the essential first step to building effective defenses that work for everyone. It's a good reminder that cybersecurity isn't static. It's a continuous process of adaptation and trying to stay one step ahead.
Well, that was a fascinating and, yes, slightly terrifying look into the present and near future of cyber threats. Thanks for breaking that down, Mark.
Anytime, Jenny. This stuff is incredibly important. Stay safe out there, everyone, and maybe check your systems for extra non-human users you didn't know about.
Indeed. Thanks for tuning in to Tech Talk today. What do you think about AI in cybersecurity? Are you worried, or do you see the potential for defense? Let us know on social media using hashtag #TechTalkToday. And hey, we'll be back next time with more insights into the world of technology. Until then, stay informed and stay secure.